Now let's move on with a new concept which is known as variables and data types. So we have completed the identifiers and keywords. So now we'll be moving to variables and data types. So let's have a look on variables. What is variable? A variable is a name which is given to a memory location to store values. So it's just a name which will be given for a memory location to store our values. So here I have taken an example. Here var1 is an variable. So as we discussed, this is an identifier. Identifier is a combination of a characters or a digits or underscore. So it's a bit clear, and this is the value. So var1 is a variable name and 20 is the value assigned for variable. So and 1012 is a memory address. So memory address is known as a memory space which will be given in our machine. So there will be a set of memory space. For example, I will try to explain in this way, like, so if you consider this is our memory, there will be a n number of cells will be given. So here for each memory slot there will be an address. So for example 101, 102, 103. In this way the memory address will be there for each memory slot. In each memory slot our data will be stored. So our data is 20 and it will be stored here. For this memory we have given a name called var1, and for this memory we have an address of 101. For example, where exactly the 20 is located is at 101. What is the name given for that? It's an var1. So in this way we used to follow the memory address standards, and this is the way in which the data will be stored. If possible, I will be explaining the memory management in the future. So as of now, you could able to understand this step. Yeah, this is variables. Now let's move on to the rules for defining the variables. What are the rules for defining variables? A variable name should start with alphabets or underscore. So this is one of the rule where we have discussed before. It should be start with a character or underscore, and no spaces are allowed. There should be no spaces, and underscore, other than underscore, no special characters are allowed. So I have said this before. A variable is written with a combination of letters, numbers and special characters. Even we have discussed this and in identifier concept, and usage of keywords is not allowed. Even this is also discussed. So for your reference I have listed out the rules, so please have a look. I think we have discussed each and everything in the identifiers and keywords concept. So if you want you can have a look over there. That's all. So this is the completion of variables. Now look into data types. What are data types? So data types represents the type of data stored in a memory location. So this data which will be stored in this memory, right? So what type of data can be identified with the help of data type? So generally there are two types of data types. One is built-in data types and other one is user-defined data types. So we can discuss each and every one in upcoming session. So built-in data types are the data types which will be generally built, or the data types which will be default that the Python will have. Those are called as built-in data types, and user-defined data types are the data types which an user or a programmer who creates the data types are called as user-defined data types. We can have a tree such a here. So in this data types we have two set of options, like two types, generally built-in data types, user-defined data types. In built-in data types we have none, numeric, sequence, sets, mapping, or dictionary. And these are the data types, these five types of data types which are generally available in Python by default. We don't have to create them, it will be in default. And user defined data types are arrays, classes, and modules. We can discuss this in our future sessions. So we can go through each and every one, and we can discuss each and every one in depth in upcoming sessions. In numeric, we have int, float, complex, boolean, and in sequence, we have string, list, tuple, range. So these are the sub branches or subtypes of numeric and sequences. Built-in data types. As we discussed here, we have five set of data types: none, numeric, sequence, sets, mapping, dictionary. So these are our five types. We can brief out each and every one, and if possible, and we will be discussing each and every one in detail in upcoming sessions. So none data type. So none data type represents an object that does not contain any value in it. So if in the none data type, so it does, if the data which will be stored in a memory, it doesn't have any of the value, at that point of time we could consider as none data type. So we can have an example here: none.py. For example, a is equal to none. A is equal to none. Print a, or type of a. If you run this, you will get an output as none type. So since a does not have any of the value, it is considered as none type. Got it? So this is case 1 or first built-in data types. Second one, numeric data type. So numeric data type has 4 types: integer, float point, complex, boolean. So integer. So now let us create a numeric.py, right? So here let us create a integer. First I will be telling you how you can use comment, everything I will be explaining that. So as of now, just focus on the examples. So a is equal to 5, then print type of a. So if you print this, you will get integer. Since it has a numeric value 5, it is just a integer. So now let us move to float. If b is equal to 5.5, then let us print type of b, and let's run this. So we get the output as float because it's a floating point, it has decimal values. Now let us move to, so that's why it has floating point numbers which contains a decimal point, hence it is a float type. Next, let us focus on complex. So c is equal to 5 plus 6j. Then if I print this, you could able to get the complex as data type because it has real and imaginary part. So the complex number is a number which contains real and imaginary part in it. The format of complex number is a plus bj. So that's what I have mentioned here. C is equal to 5 plus 6j. So where a is an real and b is an imaginary part, 6j is an imaginary and 5 is real part. So the format is matching, and hence this is, when I check the type of data type of C, we could able to get it as complex. Now let us check the last one, which is a boolean, where d is equal to true. If I give as true, then print type of d. If I give type as d, then you could able to check the type as bool. Bool is an keyword which will be used for the indication of boolean data type. That's what the boolean means. So hence we have completed the numeric data types with the examples. Don't want to worry, everything will be listed out with an proper examples, and it will be used for your future reference. You could able to make use of them. If you have any if you want any clarifications, if you have any doubts, means you could able to go back to this source code files. Anyhow, I will be sharing them. You could able to check them. Then the third type of data type is sequence data type. So in sequence data type, we have four set of data types, which is known as strings, list, tuples, range. String represents a collection of characters enclosed with single or double quotes. So these are the examples. Ram, Guru. Now let us move on with new example, sequence.py. So here, now let us consider our first case, string. Okay, string. So we have an example as well. Anyhow, let us create a variable a, and let me clear an string. If I type print and check its type, then you could able to find the str as its type. The class str represent class is an the type which helps in representation of data type. So str is an string which will be used as a keyword for the representation of string. So hence we use str. So we have completed with string, and we can focus on list now. So what is list? List is a collection of elements of same or different data types which are enclosed with square brackets. For example, we have an example here, and we can create an example. It's a collection of elements of same or different data types which are enclosed within brackets. Hence it has a negative integer, positive integer, and string. It's just a collection of it, and which are enclosed with brackets. Now we will be discussing all these things in detail in future. Like in upcoming sessions, we will be discussing each and every concept in detail, because it has the creation process, accessing, modifying, indexing, and its methods, functions. So anyhow, we will be discussing in detail how the list can be created, what are the operations can be done. Everything will be covered. So as of now, I'll be just briefing out how what is what. So just have an focus on these things. That's all. We can discuss everything in detail. So schema. If I print type of p, so if I run this, let me run it again. Print type of p, so you could able to get as list. So the first one is string and second one is list. So that's what it's an example of list, and I have demonstrated it. Now let us move on. Tuple. Tuple is a collection of elements of same or different data types which are enclosed with parentheses. Parenthesis is nothing but the brackets. So we have an example here. Even here it is a collection of elements of different data type. It can be different data type which are enclosed with brackets. So you can look for an example. Where c is equal to 5, 6, 7, -10, Rakshi, print type of C so yeah, and you could able to see the type of it. So its type is tuple. So this is an example, and this is the execution of code. So we have completed with tuple, and the final and the last one data type of sequence is range. Range is a function which represents a sequence of numbers. It can be used as a function in order to create a set of numbers. So even we can have an execution with the range of 5. Print type of t. Then if I run this, I think it will take some time. So I don't know why. Yeah, I could able to check here. So the first one is string, second one is list, and third one is tuple, and the fourth one is range. The class type is range. So it is creating a list of elements. So if you want an output of it, print d. I wanted to show print d is 0 to 5. So it involves elements from 0 to 5. So if you want to get the access for I in d, print, if you want to get the elements, you can print in this way. So this is these are the iterations. So what exactly I'm doing is d is in range of 5, the starting is 0 and the last element is 5. So I'm printing its type is range, and if I want to get all the elements in that, I can use the iteration loop for I in d. For I in 0 to 5, I want to print all the elements from 0 to 4. So that's what I did. You can ignore these things as of now, because I don't want to bother about these things. So anyhow, we will be covering these things, each and everything will be covered. I want you to show what exactly the type of data, so whenever you're storing some values, what exactly the type of data it can have. So I wanted to have that quick demo, so that's what I did. So if you look back again when I run it, so sorry, so you could able to find all the 4 types of sequence data types. Got it? Got it. Clear. And set data type. So this is the fourth one of inbuilt data types. So what is set data type? Set data type is an collection of unordered elements which are enclosed with curly brackets. Curly brackets are also known as flower brackets, and the order of elements is not same, like it won't be in a not in a proper way. For example, whenever you add an element, it will be taken in first consideration, then the following precedent or following element will be the precedence of first element. But in case of set, the order won't be maintained. Whichever you give some input, it will be taken in random position. So that what set data type. And set data type does not cannot contain any duplicate values, and that's one of the key and highlight of the set data type. It cannot contain any of the duplicate values. And since I have said you it is an unordered, the order of elements is not maintained in sets. It means that elements may not appear in the same order as they are entered into the set. So that's what I have mentioned you. So when you add an element, it will be taken as first element, and followed by second element will be the second element will be added in terms of list and tuples. But in terms of set, the order has not at all maintained, and hence it will be unordered, like it will be shuffled. So we cannot, so since it is unordered, we cannot access its index values. Yeah, we can have an example. So we'll create sets dot py. So a is equal to 2 comma 4 comma 10, and I will add one more string here. So if I print a, you could able to see the output. So I have given a as 2 4 10 Tarun, and the output is Tarun 2 10 4. So as I said, uh, in the properties of the set, it is unordered, and even indexing cannot be happen because it will be keep on shuffling. If you look, if you want to get its data type, just print its type, you could able to get its data type as set. So that's all about set data type. Mapping and dictionaries. A map or dict represents a group of elements in the form of key value pairs. So the dictionary is a group of elements in which the data will be stored in terms of key value pairs. For example, 1 is an key and Lakshmi will be the value for 1. 2 is the key and Arjun will be the value for 2. 3 is the key and Ravi will be the value. So everything will be under key value pair, and we could able to create its dictionary dot py file. So hence I will create a dictionary here. So I'm just using a as an variable for your convenience, that's it, so don't mind. So 1 is equal to Rama, then 2 is equal to Lakshmi, then 3 is equal to Raj. If I print a, so you could able to get output as Rama, Lakshmi and Raju, where 1 is the key for, and Rama is the value for key 1, Lakshmi is the value for key 2, Raju is value of key 3. So if you want to get the data type, print type of a, so you could able to get the type as it. So this is a test example of dictionary, and the last one is user defined data types, and these data types can be discussed in future sessions like classes, modules. You can cover all these things in. Oops, that's all. That's the end of variables and data types.